So continuing with the microcars theme, that we don't need EVs, we need smaller vehicles and hybrids.
Invest today and never dread your commute again.
I want one. Take my money. I came across this chap and he makes a lot of sense. He's a chap called Marcus Sholton. And here, 4 days ago, his bio is Rethinking Commuting, founder of Trinova, the world's narrowest self-balancing EV, cutting traffic, costs and chaos. EV sales are booming, so why are the big automakers cutting back? Well, we know they're not really booming, they're being bought at the expense of them making profit on ICE vehicles, which they would normally, because they're losing money selling EVs. Over 17 million EVs sold in 2024, that's nearly 20% of all new cars. Sounds like a success, right? Then why are Ford, GM, VW and Mercedes slashing targets and delaying launches? And also we've got Porsche who've decided they're not making batteries, making their own batteries. Is it because the math doesn't work? Profitability. Most original equipment manufacturers lose between $5,000 to $10,000 per EV. Only Tesla and BYD are making money. Demand cliffs. Early adopters already bought. The mass market ain't convinced. High prices, range anxiety, weak charging, and let's be real, the constant flexing on social media about how far I drove for how cheap makes you sick, doesn't it? Because you know the person who's doing it is just pathetic. they're just pathetic. One guy springs to mind, and he just made me laugh. Jeff buys cars, and the Macmaster did a Land's End to John O'Groats challenge, and this guy this guy hired a Polestar to do it, to show you how good it was. And when you worked it out, the amount the Polestar had lost, you could have hired a Learjet to fly to America rather than flipping drive from John O'Groats to Land's End. But anyway, it made me laugh anyway. Once you include all costs, EVs are often only slightly cheaper and not worth the charging hassle. Well, in the UK, they're not slightly cheaper. It works out cheaper to run a petrol when you take into real running costs, whole life costs. But I got it on PCP. All right, you got it on PCP. Unfortunately, the leasing company, if you got a cheap PCP deal, when the leasing company gets it back, they lose a load of money. And if you don't believe me, go and Google happy EV after and read that. Read what the BVRLA and the leasing companies and Auto Trader really think. Not the shite that they push into you about EVs being the best thing since sliced bread. The real truth. Not the facts, the little fact sheet where you can save £1,500 a year by buying an EV. It's the real truth. It's what is actually happening and has happened in the market. Read it. Don't take my word for it, because the ones that are telling you that EVs are fantastic are also telling the government they're in the shit. They need help. As I say, don't take my word for it. Happy EV after. Read that. Come back to me. Baz, you photoshopped it. No, I didn't Photoshop it. Baz, that's you. You've knocked it up on your computer and posted it on the internet. I replied to them on LinkedIn. They never answered me. I pointed out that what they put was rubbish. They never answered me. They just disabled comments on that post. Here we go. Here's something. Then there's the hybrid rebound. Toyota and Honda are printing profits while EVs pile up on lots. China's squeeze. BYD floods the market with EVs. Western OEMs can't touch on price. Capital risk. Retooling costs billions while ICE profits still keep the lights on. ICE profits still keep the lights on. Now, I'm pretty sure this chap worked for Fisker. I'll have to check on that. I could have sworn he worked for Fisker, but anyway. So yes, EVs are selling, but for most automakers, they're a financial black hole. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The world doesn't just need more EVs. It needs to rethink the commuter vehicle. You know, the ones people use every day for a max 30 minutes one way, 5 days a week, to get to a place they don't really want to be at, work. So why build a £4,000 car to move one person 20 miles to work? What I've always said. I like this guy. What if we changed our commuter cars? Just our commuter cars. I have my Citroen Ami to commute, and I have my T-Roc for going further places. Keep the big fancy EV or ICE for the family, but if you save 80% in yearly commuting costs with a leaner, cheaper vehicle, you could upgrade the family car instead. Imagine a commuter that's narrow enough to cut through traffic, 1/3 the weight and materials, cheaper to own, fuel and maintain, designed for everyday A to B, not as a status symbol. I want my Ami. I don't know why everybody hasn't got an Ami. I wouldn't be seen dead in one. Okay. Would you get one if it meant that your children could get a better education with the money you saved? Would you get one if it meant that you could probably go on 2 or 3 more holidays a year with the money you save? Would you get one if it meant you could buy a better house, better clothes, eat out more? Anything you like doing, would you buy one then? No, still no. Then you are stupid. The EV market will keep growing, but the winners won't be the ones selling the heaviest cars. They'll be the ones who rethink commuting itself, not building rolling living rooms with movie theatres, electric doors and screens bigger than Times Square. Because at the end of the day, most of us just want to get from A to B 5 days a week as quickly and efficiently as possible so we can get back to our real lives with family and friends. Absolutely right. This chap raises every point that I've made. Absolutely every point. You're stuck in a traffic jam. You know, doing 5 miles an hour if you're lucky. The suspension on the Citroen Ami, pretty crap. 5 miles an hour is as good as a Range Rover. Yeah, it's not got electric windows. nothing to go wrong. Instead of going, I go, and it's open. It's here, and I can reach the other one. Just open it up. It's got no radio in it. I've put an Apple CarPlay unit in with a Bluetooth speaker. It's brilliant, fantastic. Does my phone calls, does everything. It's got sat-nav on. Not that you really need sat-nav in a Citroen Ami. It's fantastic. The heater's not very good. I've put a heater in mine, which is better than the heater in my Range Rover. It has you toasty in seconds. I can set it from my phone here. I can just switch it on now if I want, or I can set it to preheat. Fantastic. Now, let's just go. Let's find out who Marcus Sholton is. About Marcus, founder Trinova Mobility, automotive innovator, builder of dreams, not decks. In 1992, a devastating crash ended my career as a professional cyclist. I've gone off him a bit now, as a cyclist. That accident didn't just end a dream, it forced me to choose a new path. I turned to my second passion, cars. Not the kind you just drive, but the kind you create from nothing. The kind that solve problems, move people, and make a statement without saying a word. For over 30 years, I've worked at the cutting edge of automotive innovation, from hand-building one-off show cars to engineering vehicles for giants like Mercedes-Benz, Fisker and BMW. My career has always been rooted in one thing: making things that move work. I led engineering on the Fisker Karma and Sunset, contributed to Nikola's electric truck platforms, prototype 1500 horsepower hypercar and helped develop some really nice convertibles. I've also built one-off dream cars for high net worth individuals and advanced engineering systems for everything from luxury SUVs to eVTOL aircraft. Now I'm assuming that stands for electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. Electric. I wouldn't get in one. There's no way I will ever get in an electric plane. Trust me. No way at all. But all of those projects were someone else's vision. Trinova is mine. I've spent over a decade developing this three-wheeled, fully enclosed, tilting commuter vehicle. Not in a boardroom, but in a garage. I built the first prototype with my own hands, tested it on real roads, and iterated it based on real-world feedback. Why? Because the future of urban mobility doesn't need to be overhyped or overfunded. It needs to work. Trinova is the answer to a broken system. It's fast, it's safe, it leans like a motorcycle, but protects like a car. Now, on holiday, quite a few, I don't think I've seen any over here, but quite a few scooters in Sorrento have two front wheels and one back wheel. And when you go around the corner on a motorbike, you lean over, you lean into the corner. You'll see these flipping super bike riders where now even the shoulders are touching the tarmac as they go. They've got sliders. It used to be knee sliders. As tyres and bikes have got better, now they need shoulder sliders and elbow sliders as they lean over. So basically you lean over. So these bikes with two wheels on the front, they go like that. Front wheels go like that. Stay at the same level. Don't come off the road. And they go around the corner. So that's the leaning, the tilting. It's fast, it's safe, it leans like a motorcycle, but protects like a car. It slices through traffic, cuts emissions, and changes how people think about commuting. It's not for everyone, just the ones tired of sitting in traffic watching their lives slip by. I'm not chasing unicorn status, I'm chasing product integrity, community support, and freedom to commute to and from work efficiently, fast, and comfortable, with the flexibility of a motorcycle and car-like safety. There was also a BMW a long time back, and the head waiter at the Aminta hotel where I go, he's got one, and it was a BMW with a canopy over the top where you could just step in and out. So, same sort of idea. This is my final attempt to bring Trinova to the world. I've been burned by bad investors, false partners, crooked joint ventures, and false promises. Now I'm betting on myself and on the people who see what I see. Welcome to the future of mobility. Welcome to Trinova. Now let's just go and see the vehicle. There you go. That's it. I like it. I'd have one. It's obviously a mock-up. The Trinova's AI-powered gap detection system. Why don't they just put whiskers on like a cat? If the whiskers don't fit, the cat don't fit. Now this I found very interesting. Here we go. I actually got an email. They're doing a crowdfunder, an EV funder.
Have you ever noticed how car commercials show you the dream of owning a car? Open roads, cars, gliding on endless scenic highways, a world without chaos, without congestion, and a world that doesn't exist. Back here, in the real world, you're stuck in traffic, sitting at the end of a long line of cars. Have you ever thought about riding a motorcycle? Sliding between all that traffic and not stuck in it? But then you remember the rain, the heat, the dust, and the dangers of being exposed at highway speeds. And that's why we built Trinova. It's lean, sleek, and fast. A motorcycle's freedom with the comfort, protection, and technology of a car. Trinova is freedom without compromise, speed without sacrifice, and a commute you can't wait to do again. Help us bring the future of commuting to life. Invest today and never dread your commute again.
I want one. I want one. Take my money. Take my money, please. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye bye.